We are the Grumpy Old Man. Thank you very much for joining us for episode 3. And we've got lots to talk about this episode. In fact, Trump is our main topic once again because he's about to have a majority of his buildings seized because he owes a lot of money due to, what's his name, Judge Arthur Engoron, whatever his name is. He's a nasty piece of judge. I'm Grumpy. In our second chair, we've got...
Pinky. Hey, guys. Welcome to the show.
Now, with today's episode, as I mentioned, Trump's property seizures, DA Letitia James. Now, not aware what's been happening. We'll give you a quick rundown. In 2022, I believe, Letitia James, who's the DA of New York, decided to file some charges against Trump. And they were financial fraud and illegal conduct and falsely inflating the property value. And one of the big ones was Mar-A-Largo, his building in Florida. Now, building worth hundreds of millions, they estimated to be worth 18. Yeah. Pretty awesome. I don't know where they got that number.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's a double-edged sort of action. First of all, they can if they can prove that it's worth 18 million, which is impossible.
Yeah.
But if they can prove it's worth 18 million, then all of a sudden the property's inflated and they win their case. But also, if they make claims and there's any reparations that are made, an $18 million property doesn't cover anywhere near what they will be fining him for. So it's a double win for them if they can prove that sort of thing. But the thing is, if they could have at least kept it realistic. 18 million.
Well, nothing about this case is realistic.
That's probably the swimming pool.
Yeah. Look, the big thing was they've charged him for fraudulently inflating his property value. The businessmen do that all the time. That's part of...
sure.
Yeah. And the thing is, he can say whatever he wants on the worth of the property, but at the end of the day, it's the banks that decide. They do due diligence and they check everything.
Yep.
They don't just say, okay, you told me that was worth $400 million. Let's take it on face value. They don't. They actually do.
Especially with those sort of numbers.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a really weird case because there were no victims in this case. All the banks got paid. They got paid in full with interest.
Yep.
They all said that they literally called him a whale because he was so lucrative, and they wanted to continue doing businesses with him. And yet, the judge, on a summary judgment, which means they didn't have a jury,
correct,
found him guilty of these fraudulent actions. And so Judge Engoron, Arthur Engoron, and he's a weird man. Have you seen photos of him? Yeah. He likes to show off his nipples. It was literally on his Twitter feed. I think it was his Twitter feed. Well, they actually charged him, I don't know if that's the right word, $464 million.
Fined him.
Fined him, yeah, that's more appropriate, for all presumably what he had done. And also they've stopped him for being on any board for a minimum of 3 years. So he can't be CEO, he can't even be on any board in New York for a total of 3 years. And they gave him 30 days to pay that amount. If he doesn't, they start seizing all his buildings, which happened to be tomorrow, because we actually record this show on a Monday.
That's right.
Yeah, so in the US, they're a day behind, so everything's going to happen tomorrow. And we'll see how it goes. We'll try and make some predictions in this session. Yeah. But tomorrow we'll find out the update, and I may even insert an edit and give you an update of what's
I think it's a great idea because it's a very important topic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
And this is just absolutely destroying New York, and businesses have become so cautious. And you've got people like, was it Kevin O'Leary? Kevin O'Leary, who's part of...
from Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. I was thinking of the Dragon's Den. I think that's the Pommy version of the same thing.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So he's actually come out, and he's a Democrat. He's not a Trump fan. Yet he came out saying that this is not good. Yeah. This is bad for business.
Which it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other business would be running scared. Because if this is the result of, not getting all your documents in a row, that's why would you want to do business there?
Yeah, I mean, there is now a billionaire who's now backing Trump because he's gone, okay, this is not what I'm after. Yeah. And Letitia James is chasing a whole bunch of businesses as well. It's crazy. She's actually just been called out, involved in a bit of a scandal. So I'm just waiting for a bit of more information before we jump at it, because I don't want to have any, fake or false flags whatsoever in that situation. So once we find out some accurate details, we'll report on it. So let's play a little clip that Kevin O'Leary, he's on Fox News, and he's just talking about some of the situation with Trump.
But more importantly, the message about the American brand. You think about America, the reason this is the number one economy on earth is that we have laws and we have due process and we have property rights. It attracts foreign capital from all around the world. All of that is being shaken to the core here. The concept of seizing assets in 30 days on a bond number that's never been issued. No insurance bond company's ever issued anything near this, so there was no chance it was going to happen. And only giving 30 days notice and time, that's a really bad message. And I think New Yorkers should think well past Trump. Whether he's president or not, or whether this attorney general is gone in 4 years or not, it's irrelevant. This is case setting against the American brand. The most stable country on earth, anywhere, to put capital to work over a long period of time, particularly in real estate, is the United States of America. This is an assault on what we believe to be core. And I find it extraordinary. I think it's very troubling. It has absolutely nothing to do with Donald Trump at this point, in my view, and it is completely bipartisan. This is an attack on America. And I don't know how you can look at it any other way. And as an investor, and I know plenty of investors who are completely disturbed by this, but I mean, no one is going to put any money to work in New York in these amounts until this thing settles down. The whole world is watching, and everybody's waiting for one thing we haven't got yet: adult supervision. Where is it? Where are the adults in this crazy narrative? Certainly there's got to be adult supervision at some point. And I understand, the war going on here and all the political yada, yada, woof, woof, woof. But we need an adult in the room now. This is the United States of America under siege. But more important...
This is far greater than just Trump, because there's a lot of implications from this.
Yep.
This is the first time anything like this has happened, specifically for these type of charges. It was, like I said, it was a summary judgment. There was no jury there at all. The judge decided, okay, you're guilty. Now we go to the next step where we figure out how much you're going to pay. That's just crazy. It's virtually the same as what they did to Alex Jones with I think Sandy Point, where they found him guilty.
Yep.
And that was a summary judgment as well.
Yep.
No jury.
No jury.
And $1.4 billion fine.
Yeah.
I mean, where's he going to get the money? They're not going to see a cent of it.
No, of course not.
Trump's already appealed this. So he's had to put up the $464 as a bond as well. So even if he goes to appeal, that money has to be there, and it's cash. What do you do?
Yeah, that's right.
What do
it's
you
nearly
do?
$500 million.
Yeah.
That's Kevin O'Leary's net worth.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, blimey.
So I don't think you'll be borrowing it off him.
That's right. But what sort of message does that send to all the businesses?
Yeah, well, that's right.
Yeah.
Why would you bother doing business there if that's the potential outcome? And to seize his property, I mean, you've got to think about the Attorney General. If he seizes his property, was going to seize a 60-storey tower.
Yeah.
It's not about the Attorney General isn't going to. Or the Department of the Attorney General isn't going to own the tower and rent it out. They need to be able to sell it on.
Yeah.
So it's not as, even for them, it's a headache if they win. So it just seems like just an absolute waste of everybody's time.
In the last couple of days over the weekend, there was posts that I've seen. They were already talking about seizing the building and then putting the homeless in there and the illegal immigrants.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Shall we talk about socialism? That's exactly where they're heading with these seizures.
Everything just feels like one step away, doesn't it? Getting closer.
What are your predictions? What do you think is going to happen?
I think, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because I know what they're trying to do. They really want to tear him apart. So they'll find any way they can.
To me, this has been election interference from the start.
Oh, totally.
And it's interesting that they picked that number, $464 million, because that's pretty much all the cash he has. Yeah. And they were campaign funds, a lot of them as well. On top of that, just a short, limited time, 30 days to get that all together.
I definitely feel this is election related. Yeah. Because that puts him at a standstill, basically. Unless he gets funding, additional funding.
Yeah, he's got 4 indictments, and all of them just happened at the same time. I mean, how can you not think it's election interference?
No, that's right. Look, they could have done these things earlier, but then he would have had more time to prepare. So I feel like it's they've set him up.
I get the feeling. I mean, there's a few things that are a bit of an issue. Trump doesn't own those buildings himself. He has partners in them. Yeah. Which means that kind of throws a spanner in the works. They can't just walk in and say, okay, this is the building, I'm going to take it. Yeah. Because they now have to somehow coordinate with the other owners. Do they take a portion of it, or how does it work? Yeah. I'm not a legal analyst.
Well, I think what they would do is take the whole building. Well, because it's a legal department, they can do whatever they like. They'll take the whole building, sell it off, and then return funds to the other owners. But...
So how do they value it?
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't matter what they value it at. Yeah. Because basically they're facing a fire sale. So even if they valued it at an extraordinary amount, they might not get that. Yeah. So it really comes down to... And then I think they've got the right to continue to seize more items if they don't get all the money they want. So they could flog this off cheap to somebody.
Yeah, I believe so. So they can seize quite a number of buildings. Yeah. Mar-a-Lago's in Florida, so I'm not sure if they can do that because this is a New York case. Yeah. If you know, let me know in the comments because I don't.
It goes from state to state. Yeah.
Oh, because that could be an absolute disaster. They could say something like Trump Towers is worth $50 million, and just keep on selling them off until he's got nothing.
Like they tried to do with Mar-a-Lago for $18 million.
Exactly, $18 million, and I still to this day don't know where he got the number from. $18 million.
Just pull it out of their ass, I suppose.
That actually hosts a lot of events, which they hire it out to. And it turns over about $25 million alone. Yeah. Now, there was a news article, wasn't it in the 20s or 1920s about Mar-a-Lago? Are you familiar with it?
Don't know, no.
I think it was reported in Times Magazine. Again, please fact check us. I mean, we're here all about finding out the truth. But I believe it could have been the Times or the New York Times. They did an article and they said in the 1920s that Mar-a-Lago was already worth $22 million or something, around that mark. And we're talking 100 years ago. Over 100 years ago.
So unless it's dropped in value.
Hello, I'm going to buy it. Yeah. Well, no, maybe not.
That's a very liberal. It's a very liberal view, isn't it? Yeah. Now that Trump owns it, it's worth less.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's how they work, isn't it? Yeah. $18 million. But that's the interesting thing, because as soon as they valued it at $18 million, well, Judge Arthur valued it. You had CNN and MSNBC, ABC, they all came out because they're all left-in outlets. They all said, it's worth about $18 to $20 million. So they all backed up this judgment. I'm going to play you a recent clip from this weekend. This is CNN in their wisdom have all of a sudden decide a different value to Mar-a-Lago because Trump needs to pay that money.
You need at least 30 days to get any of these properties sold. But the property that you alluded to, Mar-a-Lago, potentially that could be something that could be sold quickly. I think the valuation is something in the hundreds of millions, and I think there could be a buyer for something like that.
And that would be literally, if you're talking about doing that between now and Monday, that's picking up the phone, calling someone, and them literally writing a check.
Yeah, I mean, there could be plenty of international people who want to buy that property. I mean, there's properties that are priced at 150 and 200 million that are nearby that. And Palm Beach is like the NVIDIA, of real estate. It's just shot up like a rocket. And people do want to live there. They've moved there. So I think that would be the best case scenario as to property. If he's trying to sell quickly, I would encourage that.
So, all right. Now, that's $240 million estimated. I mean, who knows? You know, he's a desperate seller. In this case, someone picks up the phone and makes that call this week. So I don't know what it'd be. That's still half of what it would be.
I think you need at least 30 days.
Somebody want to explain to me how we went from 18 to $240 million
I don't know.
in a space of, 2 months or whatever it was?
Almost overnight. I don't know, but I'll happily pay $18 million.
It sounds like a bargain. If
I'll find it.
If I can get $240 million,
Yeah,
I'm sure you'll find some investors.
We could find $18 million. That's no problem.
I just find that really astounding. Well, actually, no, I don't. Because people generally have short-term memory when it comes to news.
Yeah.
They'll forget anybody talked about $18 million, you know.
Yeah.
The fact that CNN reported it, it's worth only $18 million. We back up the judge, yeah. And now they're saying 240.
Yeah, and then it'll be some excuse. Oh, I've made a mistake. You know?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
So that's...
Yeah.
So hopefully, you know, we get an answer, some type of answer.
Yeah.
We will definitely actually find an answer tomorrow morning. So, like I said, I'll try and maybe insert an edit into this.
Yeah.
By the time it screens tomorrow night.
But isn't Trump merging his social media platform as well? Like
he is.
Because
I
believe there's going to be a lot of money coming from that. Something like $3 billion goes his way.
I've heard between $3 to $4 billion.
Yeah. So he could pay this out of that merger money,
but not by tomorrow.
That's
the thing.
That's the issue.
I
think that's part of the reason they've given him the 30 days, because they know about the merger. It's like, well, we've got to get ahead of that. Otherwise, he'll just give us the change. He'll write us a check.
Something did happen on would have been Saturday Australian time, which was Friday. Judge, I can never pronounce Engoron. Judge, I call him Arthur. That'll do. Judge Arthur. Yeah. I call him Judge Arthur.
He must be an Aussie.
He came out and he actually said to Trump's lawyers, "Can you please show me any proof that you've been trying to find people to back you for the bail?" That's $464 million, which is a really weird thing to ask so close to the due date. You know, they're basically saying, what attempts have you made? Let me know. So I'm kind of thinking there's something a bit more going on here. It's not so clear-cut that he's going to just say, okay, let's go and seize it. It's a weird thing for him to come out. Yeah.
Well, I know he can't borrow money to pay bail. I'm pretty sure that's against their ruls.
But don't be surprised if Trump comes up with the money.
Oh, I wouldn't be. It's probably under his mattress.
I'm spending the night at his place.
It's hidden in one of his towers.
Yeah.
You'll see him there tonight smashing tiles on the foyer wall. He's got a briefcase in there.
I wonder how much his gold toilet is worth.
Oh, there you go. That'll probably cover some of it. Yeah.
That's
look, at the end of the day, I mean, what's he worth? $2.6 billion.
Yeah, I personally don't think it's going to happen tomorrow. I don't think they'll seize it tomorrow.
Oh, it won't be as simple as seizing tomorrow. It'll only be a final verdict tomorrow. Because
he's already approached the appellate court.
Yeah.
For the judge. I mean, anyone with half a brain would realise this is just wrong on so many levels.
Yeah.
This whole case, just like the Fannie Willis. Fannie Willis. Yeah.
Fannie Willis. Yeah.
That's another disaster. But I don't think it's going to be so clear cut. They're not just going to walk in, grab the keys, and that's it.
Oh, yeah. Even if the verdict goes against Trump, it won't be as simple as that.
That's
it never
right.
is. It never is. So, and look, how many times have we heard about court cases on any level where someone's awarded damages and nothing gets paid?
Yeah.
You think it doesn't happen at that level? Of course it does.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and like I said, it's gone to the appellate's court. There's also the partners issue, and of course Trump's. I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually approached a bunch of his billionaire friends.
Well, you know what he could do? He could sue Snuffleupagus for the same amount.
For defamation.
Yeah, for defamation. And then he's just take it from one and give it to the other. And
for that E.J. Carroll. What does E.J. Carroll stand for?
I don't know.
Anyone know? She was the one that sued them for alleged rape, that she couldn't remember the date.
Yeah.
Didn't know what outfit she was wearing, or she did know, but the outfit wasn't produced till a long time after the supposedly event. And that wasn't that another summary judgment or something?
No, wasn't he acquitted?
No, he wasn't.
Or is it, well,
because he got done for defamation.
No,
that was the $80 million.
He got, I believe. No,
yeah,
no,
it's been a little while.
I've got to be careful how I speak to this because I could be wrong, but I'm sure it was something along the lines of some sort of sexual assault, but it wasn't rape.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's where this liability issue is now with him, with Snuffleupagus making comments about him
That's right,
having
saying that
been
he was
charged with rape.
Yeah, and he wasn't.
Or made liable, which wasn't the case.
Yeah.
In fact, twice he wasn't. So that's where this case comes into play. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that unfolds too.
Well, we'll soon find out within 24 hours. And like I said, there may be an update on this video tonight, because that's when you'll see it tonight.
Keep an eye out. Yeah.
And we're back again with a bit of help from Christopher Nolan's Inception style of editing. We're here the following day and we have the results of what's happened to Trump and his seizures of his property. And as you can see on my little Twitter feed, it's been reduced. The $464 million bond got reduced down to $165 million.
Yep.
And no property seized.
Yeah. Yeah.
How good is that?
I know.
Well, it's great for Trump.
Yeah.
And also the appeal court gave him an extra week as well to pay that $165.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good result. I mean, it's never a perfect result because really it shouldn't have happened in the first place.
No.
But, you know, as opposed to $464 million.
Yeah. Especially when the previous largest fine was $90 million. And I can't remember who that was. But it was $90 million, and we've gone from 90 to 175, and that's a good result.
Yeah.
You know, that's again. I always say this is just crazy.
Yeah.
You know, we live in a bizarro world.
Yeah,
but
totally.
The great thing about it again is that that Trump actually did that merger that we spoke about earlier, and that just hit the stock market today as well. But before I get to that, there was a couple of things that I actually found out that I didn't know. And remember I mentioned how I don't know how they got to that $18 million valuation of Mar-A-Largo?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that George Soros' son, Jonathan, is part of a company that did the valuation on the property. That's how they got the $18 million.
Yep.
So that's a bit of a shock. And there's a link that, you know, that seems to appear everywhere that's involved with Soros-backed DAs, and they're quoting a few of the blue state cities. So, it's all dodgy.
Oh, it's a wicked web.
It's always dodgy. So
web.
I finally found out, and so there you go, peeps. We have another nasty link there.
Yeah.
And another thing I found out today was that I didn't know was Judge Nipples, you know, Judge Engoron. Is that his name? Judge Engoron. I can't just forget.
Where'd you get nipples from?
Because he posted on his X feed when he was at the gym.
The gym with
his nipples.
Yeah.
So
Okay, gotcha.
that's my name for him, Judge Nipples.
Yeah, fair enough.
When he did the original ruling for the $464 million, he actually said that Trump cannot get any loans from New York banks to basically post this $464 million. And that effectively tied his hands for
well, that would have wiped out all of his cash. So, which I think was the intention. That was the intention.
Well, that's
Wipe
right.
out his cash.
And the reason they got that $464 million because they knew how much money he actually had, how much cash, which included the campaign funds as well.
Yeah, correct.
So they were out there to just totally wipe him out.
Oh, that was the plan. That was the plan.
But sadly, it didn't quite turn out that way, did it?
No.
One of the things that also happened over the weekend, and these are just some things that popped up over the last 24 hours since we did the first section of the recording, is Joy Reid had this report on saying how broke Trump was.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to play that for you right now.
We begin tonight with some cold, hard facts.
Facts.
Donald John Trump is broke and begging for money. He owes New York State roughly $454 million, and the deadline to put up a bond if he wants to appeal or a deposit on the debt is Monday. If he fails to do so, New York Attorney General Letitia James can move in on Trump's bank accounts or real estate. His lawyers, paid for by the RNC, are telling the court that he doesn't have the money, which leads us to another fact. Trump has for decades lied about his wealth and about the valuation of his properties. He also has a history of not paying back his loans, and so most self-respecting financial institutions and wealthy individuals don't want to take a chance on him. Too risky. We begin tonight with some...
Yeah.
She literally said he didn't pay back his loans, whereas the banks testified in the court that they got all their money
Plus
with
interest.
plus interest,
Yeah.
and ahead of time, and they couldn't wait to do business with him again.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
This is Joy Reid. I just detest her.
Yeah,
She's horrid.
you can, even if you're not a fan of Trump, surely by now you must be seeing the witch hunt.
Absolutely.
If you're not seeing that, you're not paying attention.
But the problem, a lot of people have got such bad Trump derangement symptoms, syndrome, that they don't even care about the truth. They just want him locked up, and they keep on talking about the Trump crime family, and yet everything's bogus that keeps them being thrown at him. You know, it's just stupid, bizarro world.
Yeah.
And as we know, just before the weekend, the merger was approved between who was it again? Trump Incorporated and
Trump Media and
oh, we forgot now. Oh, actually, no, we don't. We haven't forgot. It's Digital World Acquisition. Yeah. Now, when they opened for trading overnight, his stocks jumped 38.37%, which made him $6.4 billion. That's his worth now. That's astounding. And for the first time ever, Trump is actually in the top 500 of the wealthiest people in the world. Yeah. And here we have literally 2 days earlier, Joy Reid saying he's broke.
Yeah. And if you think about this journey over the last, 10 years, 9 years, all the lefties out there saying, "Oh, it's wrong. You did it."
That's right. Yeah.
You put a target on him.
Yeah.
You made him. You made him obvious to everybody, and you just blew him up.
Yeah.
And now look at where he is. So you did that yourselves.
Every time he got indicted, his polls went up.
Yeah.
And he's now leading in every poll, literally every poll, because people are seeing this, seeing through this smoke screen of justice that the.
I think that's the thing here. Is like, even if you can't stand the guy, if you take him personally out of the equation and look at what's actually happening, is this how presidential candidates are supposed to be treated? It wouldn't matter if it was him or anybody else. The Democratic Party would be doing the exact same thing.
I don't think any other candidate would be treated like this.
I don't know.
Because it's Trump.
I think they might.
It's purely Trump.
To some degree. Maybe not quite as harsh as Trump, but to some degree, you've got to...
Yeah, but I haven't seen any other politician try and shake up the deep state as badly as Trump did. He did it right from the start. That's why even his own party, the GOP, is against... a lot of them are against him. He's changed the GOP into MAGA now, Make America Great Again, and first, and hence why everyone's pushing back.
Yeah.
So, that's our update. And
right.
I've got to say, I was on the edge of my seat last night thinking, what's going to happen? They're going to repossess his buildings and all that. And turns out he got a bit of a break. It's not. I don't think he's out of the water now, out of the hot water yet. There's still, he still has to appeal. And from what I understand is if he wins the appeal, he gets his money back, and then he can actually sue the state for damages.
Yeah.
So stay tuned because it's all happening. Let's move on to something a little bit lighter now, to the entertainment industry. Let's have a bit of a look at some movies. Now, one movie that was released over the weekend, Roadhouse, classic movie from '89, but that wasn't released. It was the new version.
I was really looking forward to seeing it. I think we spoke off air a couple of weeks ago about the preview. Yeah. And I was super excited. I thought this is going to be fantastic. And I remember watching it and at first... thinking, this looks like an interesting movie, a bit of action, and then I started to realise that the plot was the same as, or very similar to the original Roadhouse, and sure enough, it came up Roadhouse, and I thought, well, here we go, they've done a remake, but it still looked okay in the preview. But
I saw the preview. I actually knew nothing about it until you mentioned it a few weeks ago to me, and I thought, really, Roadhouse?
Yeah,
and I'd seen the original movie back in the '80s, in '89, and can't even remember actually ever seeing it again from the original release. And I think I saw it on video. I didn't actually see it at the theatres. I saw it on video. So it would have been probably a year after it was released. And I remembered the movie. In fact, over the weekend, I went and watched it again just to refresh my mind. And then I watched the new version. The new version. Where do we start?
Is it on Paramount, is it? Is it Paramount?
I
think it's Paramount. Oh, maybe Prime.
Prime. It's actually on Prime.
Yeah, because I went to watch it. I had such a hectic weekend getting some information together. Anyway, watching something on Prime, and it popped up, and directly underneath it was the original.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I watch the new one, watch the original first? I ended up not watching either.
After you telling me all about it, I went to watch it.
Yeah.
I specifically watched it to make sure.
Well, I still had every intention until I heard that it was a total disaster.
Well, a quick refresh of the original movie, which came out in 1989. Now, if you don't know, it was Patrick Swayze. Mm-hmm. It was one of his earlier movies, and he went through a run from the early 80s to the early 90s where he just had hit after hit after hit.
He was the flavour of the month.
He was a megastar.
Yep.
And the thing was, he did musicals, of course. Just a quick rundown. He's had 52 credits. Sadly, he passed away in 2009 from pancreatic cancer. Now, he played the character James Dalton in the new movie, same character as well, another James Dalton. Now, some of his hits, one of his earliest, and I'll do these in chronological order, The Outsiders, 1983. Next one, one of my favourites, Red Dawn, which was also remade and also pretty average.
Yeah.
That was 1984. And the big one, of course, is Dirty Dancing in 1987.
Nobody puts Patrick Swayze in a corner.
No.
I'm sure everybody, even if you haven't seen the movie, I reckon everybody knows that expression. Nobody puts baby in
absolutely,
a corner.
yeah. And, of course, you had the most amazing soundtrack, all those 60s tracks. Fantastic. And the other big one, Point Break, 1991.
That's right.
Keanu Reeves. Mm-hmm. Huge hit. They referenced Australia, even though they never filmed in Australia.
That's right, yeah.
Mongrels. And Donnie Darko in 2001. Donnie Darko, remember that one, okay? Because we've got a bit of link between Donnie Darko and the new movie.
Okay.
All right. Now, of course, the other co-star, Kelly Lynch, who played Dr. Elizabeth Lynch. Oh, no. Maybe a typo there. Well, it's Dr. Elizabeth anyway.
Yeah.
And Kelly Lynch. And she was hot.
Yeah,
hot,
beautiful blonde. Yeah.
Stunning woman. Made a whole bunch of movies. Gone a bit quiet lately. But she has been in a lot of TV shows, a lot of episodes. She'll appear like in one episode of a series. Very active still, but quiet as in movies.
Yeah.
Okay. And Sam Elliott, who played Wade Garrett.
I love Sam Elliott.
I personally think they should have made a Roadhouse movie just based on his character.
Yeah.
He was so good.
Well, in the original movie, he was basically his mentor.
Exactly. That's exactly.
So it would have been nice to go like a throwback movie. It would have been great.
You know? I can't remember ever seeing Sam Elliott as a young bloke. He's always been that gruff.
I think he came out of the womb that old, didn't he?
I don't know, but he's always played this gruff, character.
Yeah.
His face has always been, wrinkly, and he's good. He seriously, they should have made a movie about him playing a bouncer. Yeah, bouncer. What do they call him? A cooler.
A cooler.
Yeah, that's right. He basically wasn't a bouncer. He made sure
everything stayed
exactly.
under
he was
control.
the boss man.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward all these years to 2022, and the person that takes over the Dalton role is Jake Gyllenhaal. Now, I actually like him. I reckon he's a great actor.
I think so. Yeah.
Now, this is the connection to the original movie. Patrick Swayze was in Donnie Darko. Jake Gyllenhaal was the main actor in Donnie Darko.
Oh,
so, so all these years later, he's playing Patrick Swayze's role.
Yeah.
Now, the co-star, Daniela Melchior, I think I'll pronounce, sorry if I've screwed that up. I've never heard of her. She's got very few credits when I had a look. So, we'll wait for it. She might be a big star in the future. But Roadhouse has a very similar storyline to the original movie. In the fact, there's this big tycoon and he wants to take over the Roadhouse and buy everybody out.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
Well, that's in the first 10 minutes.
I'm just joking.
That's in the first 10 minutes.
If you've seen the first one, there's no spoilers, trust me.
Yeah. But what I did like between the two movies is in the original movie, Patrick Swayze has his demon from his past. And during the movie, they only talk about it for about a minute. They don't actually flush it out, his backstory. Where in the new one, they actually spend a bit of time. And Jake Gyllenhaal is actually a UFC fighter in the new movie. And there's this bit of an incident that basically changes his whole perspective on violence, and he leaves UFC and becomes well, Cooler. He plays
Yeah.
the same role, Cooler. And talking about UFC, the co-star, the bad guy, is Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor. Mm.
And he is amazingly bad.
Should stick to fighting.
I swear, he belongs in a school theatre play. He is just so bad, and he's had I think about 7 credits.
Isn't he getting into politics now?
Is he?
I believe so. Isn't he running for something to do with Ireland?
Oh, actually, no, you're right.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I did hear about that. Sorry, need a quick drink. But his character is just over the top. There's just scenes you kind of look at and go, WTF?
Yeah.
You know, it's just weird the way they set him up, and his character is this unstoppable machine. He's nasty. He's very, very nasty, and he's
Spoiler alert.
yeah.
Spoiler alert.
I'm giving you 5 seconds because I'm going to have a bit of a spoiler to his character. So 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go get a drink and come back.
Exactly. Anyway, pretty much fairly early in the movie, Conor McGregor, what's his character's name? Did I write it down? Yeah, Knox.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's having an affair with this guy's missus, and he gets caught out, and he jumps out the window. I don't know why he didn't, just beat him up and go through the front door. But he jumps out of the window, and he's totally naked, and he's got his butt shot. He's walking down this, I don't know if it's Parisian, but it feels, something like that.
It's like a market.
Yeah. And he walks through this, it's got cobblestones, and he walks through this market. And because he's naked, he sees this particular guy, and he's got this really nice jacket on. So he heads over to him and goes, "Oh, I like your jacket," headbutts him, and the scene cuts. And he goes through a bit of a scene with Dalton, and he's having a bit of a talk with the lead female. And then they cut back to a Knox again, to Conor McGregor, and he's put on the jacket, but get ready for this. The market is on fire. For some reason, he set the market on fire. And it's all ablaze, and he's just walking off, and he's very proud. He's got this new jacket, gets the phone call that he needs to go to Florida to face Dalton, and he goes, "I'll be right there," and that's it. So I just don't get why he burnt the market down. Because all he was after was a jacket.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted.
Which wasn't even his.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it is now. I'll tell you, I wouldn't argue with it, that's for sure.
Well, I wouldn't argue with him either. Yep.
Jake Gyllenhaal's had 55 credits. He's been around, 20, 25 years now.
Yeah, something like that.
I loved him in Donnie Darko. It was such an amazing movie. Some of his credits are, like I said, Donnie Darko, 2001, Brokeback Mountain, 2005. That was a great movie. Very...
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, very controversial.
What's it about, horses or something?
Seriously. Who played Joker again? The Aussie guy? Heath Ledger. Yeah. He was in it. They were gay lovers, and they kept that a secret.
Right.
And they met every once in a while. I think it was once a year, and they professed their love, and it was that type of scenario. And then it just fast forward through all the years of them joining up, then finally saying, "Oh, we have to say our goodbyes," and things like that. So they lived their lives as cowboys on a ranch.
Must be set in a different time, was it?
No, it was set in present time.
Really?
Yeah. Well, that's what it looked like.
Man, 2024, you can't be gay.
24? The movie came out in 2005.
Well, okay. Well, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
No, it was. That's why it was controversial. But it won heaps of awards. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was a great movie. Really good. I like anything Heath Ledger does. In those days, Jake Gyllenhaal was fairly new to me, so I didn't know much about him. Heath Ledger already knew. I think he had already done The Patriot and a whole bunch of other movies.
Knight's Tale.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
That's right.
Yep.
Then in 2012, End of Watch, which was, I think, with Panay, the Panay guy, a couple of cops on the beat. Have you seen it?
Were they gay?
No.
Sorry, just checking. I don't know. I haven't seen that one either.
No, there were a couple of cops on the beat, and the way it was portrayed was brilliant. And it was like a time jump as well. So when it jumps between the time, you kind of see everything's okay, but it's got a lot of twists in it. Won't give it away this time, even though it's a what is it? It's a 12-year-old movie.
I haven't seen it by now.
Yeah. Nightcrawler, which came out a few
Oh, yeah.
years ago.
That's a good
That was another brilliant man. I loved it. He plays a cameraman who films this accident, and all of a sudden he gets this this fame. That's what I was trying to find. This fame, and he starts creating accidents.
Creating accidents to film. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. And his last big one, Spider-Man: Far From Home. You know, he played the guy in the helmet, the fake superhero guy. It was all. I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to do it this time. But then again, it is a 4 or 5 year old movie.
Yeah.
So that was that. Shall we play the preview, or do we need to play the preview for that one? The trailer?
Well,
let's play it.
Yeah,
Just to
why
give everybody, even though we just trashed it.
Mostly so you can see why we had a false sense of security. It's a good-looking preview, and we thought, this is going to be great.
Yeah, I agree. Because I actually...
Total flop. What did it do in numbers, do you know? I think it was like ridiculously low. One of the biggest flops recently.
Roadhouse?
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet. No, I haven't seen the figures. I haven't even looked at the figures yet. But it was
Well, there you
released
go.
on
I'm
cable.
predicting that it'll be one of the biggest flops.
Yeah, but I think it even might be around 6.1 or 6.2 on IMDb. So it's rating pretty well.
Really?
But it came out on Prime.
Yeah, right.
So
Straight to Prime,
anyone that watches movies, and especially since we've seen the original, we compare it. It's really disappointing. It is a disappointing movie. Having said that, I'll play the trailer very briefly just to show you the difference of how good the trailer looks compared to how it came out.
Before we start, do you have insurance? What? Your coverage good? Like, you have dental?
Jake's got some fantastic lines in the movie.
Nearby. Is it like too far?
About like 25 minutes, I'd say.
I just slapped you. Are you alright?
What?
So you like to fight? You ever win?
No one ever wins a fight.
This ain't the Holiday Inn, pal.
I'll move it.
A friend of mine suggested I come talk to you. I own a roadhouse out in the Florida Keys. Lately, it's been attracting the wrong clientele. I can pay you good money. Judging by your car, you need that.
Well, I like my car.
Think about it.
Do you remember in the original movie about the car? Because remember,
Yeah.
he drove a Mercedes-Benz. This
That's
really
right, which
nice.
is one of my favourite scenes.
Yeah.
When he launches the Mercedes.
Yeah,
Benz.
he has this really, really flash Mercedes-Benz. Patrick Swayze does. But he buys this old bomb of a car to drive
From the wreckers.
to the roadhouse.
Fills it with all the spare wheels.
Because the ongoing gag is that they keep on destroying the car.
Yeah.
They put signs through it, flatten his tyres and all sorts of things. Yeah. Doesn't happen in this one, by the way. They avoided that one.
I know who you are. Elwood Dalton. Big fan, man.
That guy's got a knife under his shirt. You just take a big step back and pop me in the face. You can do it.
Tell me about this fountain.
Yeah, it's all nice, like he's Mr. Rogers or something, but then he'll haul off. Really?
You can see by the plaster there's a lot of bone crunching in this. A lot of legs breaking, a lot of arms.
So this is set in Florida.
Yeah, correct.
Why didn't they set it at Mar-A-Largo? That could have been what a great movie that could have been.
Imagine filming there and the sheriff turns up to repossess it.
Instead of that woman coming to him, it's Trump. I've got a property in Mar-a-Lago. It's amazing. You should see it. It's great. It's the biggest property. You should come and be my cooler. It's great.
Yeah.
It's the biggest.
It's the best.
It's the best.
Yeah, it's the best. Yeah. This character here, I don't know his name, but he's actually pretty good. There's a couple good bits, but overall it's rubbish. So
Interesting guy, overall.
Brand wants to take the roadhouse away from me. He wants to build some resort.
I should warn you, people have a certain way of getting things done around here.
Hey, fellas. Looks like you're having a smashing night. Dalton! I got a tip for you. Don't let no one get this close.
Let me guess. Threaten me. Tell me to get out of town.
I get the impression that he can't be threatened.
Of course, everybody's trying to get him out of town in this movie. I mean, you can see Connor. He's just terrible. He delivers his lines like a piece of cardboard.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good at all. And he's got this walk that he does. And I swear my 8-year-old does it when he wants to be silly. And he's kind of this strut he does.
It's like an exaggerated John Wayne.
Exactly. It's terrible. Just terrible.
Folks is on the job, it's over, baby.
It takes a lot to get me angry, but when I am, I just can't let go. People seem a little aggressive around here.
Is that one a friend of yours?
No, I just broke his arm.
Yeah. Look, if you like action, you like a bit of fighting, go and check it out. You know, it's got some great fight scenes, but you're after a plot or storyline, forget it.
Yeah, if you're looking for some action white noise. Yeah.
Honestly, the best scenes are pretty much in the trailer. There was a few really funny lines in the movie. Jake's got some great one-liners. So does actually Knox, but because he's so bad, he just screws the lines up. Yeah, so anyway, that's our review. I hope, well, if you've seen it, leave a comment. You know, let us know what you thought of it, because I thought it was rubbish. And Pinky hasn't even seen it.
I haven't. I probably won't.
Now, sorry to spoil it for you.
Well, I think, like I said before, some of these movies, when you watch the preview, you've seen everything.
Yeah.
You know, look at Madam Web. There's a great example.
Yeah.
You know, all the action happened in the preview.
Yeah, correct.
In fact, even the bit where they're in costume, it's like a minute out of the whole movie.
And it's a dream sequence.
They put most of it in the preview.
Yeah, correct.
I don't need to see the movie now. So
correct. Yeah, so anyway, let's move on to some trailers, some entertainment that's coming out very shortly. And Star Wars. Star Wars are back again. And I'm going to play this because this is the brand new series coming out called The Acolyte. A lot of controversy behind it because one of the producers behind it is woke. So which means we're going to focus a lot on the message and not actually the storyline.
Seems to be getting worse, doesn't it? Star Wars.
Having seen the original movie at the cinemas when it came out, and I still remember this to this day.
In 1910 or whatever it was.
That's right, before even there was colour.
I'm sure you're that old. He's probably that old.
In a galaxy far, far away, that's where I saw it.
Was I born? When did it come out?
1977.
Oh, yeah, I suppose I was born.
Yeah.
Only just.
I remember the hype that came up with Star Wars. Because we didn't have the internet in those days, and I was a fairly young man then. All right, I was a kid. And there was a lot of buzz, and all the buzz came from newspapers and magazines, and not even on TV. And there was this big thing about, this new $40 million movie coming out. It's absolutely amazing. And in those days, when it was released in the States, it was usually a couple of months before it got released in Australia. So we were always behind.
Yeah.
And so we heard all this buzz. We couldn't, we knew very little. And because I was reading a lot of sci-fi magazines and how to make movie magazines, that type of thing, I was kind of picking up bits and pieces. But I still didn't know much about it, other than it was this amazing movie. So I remember the day we went to see it, a mate of mine, and we went down to the city, all the way from the suburbs there, 45-minute train ride, because I didn't have a car because I was underage. I don't think even I had a bicycle in those days. Anyway, so we got there, and I remember...
They didn't have bicycles in those days. Anyway.
Yes, we did. They were called penny farthings.
Yeah, you're right.
And I remember watching the movie, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. We hadn't seen anything like that before. I mean, I'd already seen Stanley Kubrick's 2001, but this was such a different movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it sci-fi. I would call it sci-fi, more of a fantasy, because it was, it wasn't based in science. But it was nothing like anyone had ever seen before. I remember the final scene, spoiler alert, and you've had 50 years almost.
Half a century.
Yeah. Bad luck, I don't care. the very final scene when the Death Star blows up, and this was before, obviously, Lucas decided to re-edit and add new effects. I remember seeing that, and at the end of it, just in there, totally exhausted from the journey that it took me through, and thinking, what was that? That was just absolutely amazing. And from then, we had part 2, The Empire Strikes Back. And out of all the movies, I still think The Empire Strikes Back is the best out of all of them. It was much darker, it was more adult. But then you had the third one with the Ewoks.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. The Ewoks, I don't know what happened there. We had little furry little animals running around. It was still good. I obviously thoroughly enjoyed it. And then you have a break of, I think it was about 13, 14, 15 years or something.
Quite a few years, yeah.
Before episode 1 came up. And
Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Yep.
And obviously, people like myself who had seen the original and it was so magical, by the time episode 1 came out, we were very used to the computer graphics, what was going on. Yeah?
Yeah.
So with the computer graphics, when episode 1 came up, we were kind of desensitised on how magnificent it was. Whereas Star Wars, the original, we had never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Nobody had seen anything like it. So episode 1, I enjoyed it, even though it didn't have the same impact. Then you had episode 2 and episode 3. Then you had Jar Jar Binks, which gave a traumatic experience for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
a really bad Jamaican accent.
Correct. Yeah, and so when that happened, and then many years later, Lucas decided to sell Lucasfilm to Disney, and then Disney just went downhill.
Yeah, it's been a spiral, hasn't it?
Exactly.
That's brought us to where we are.
Yeah, then we had the final 3 movies in well, he always planned to make 9 movies. Lucas always said there were 9 movies in his story. And sadly, he wasn't in control of the last 3. Disney took over and just destroyed it, kind of, really knocked that tarnish off the brass. Is that correct? I don't know. That'll do. The shine off, And it just kept on going down. And then we had travesties like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, that was a disaster series. And now we've got The Acolyte, which is another disaster. So let's play the trailer, because I've just waffled on a whole bunch of the history of it.
Yeah.
Let's go to The Acolyte. And this is a series, and it goes, I think the timeline is 100 years before Star Wars.
Okay.
So we're going back, as in the episode 1.
Episode 1,
yeah. So 100 years before that. So, let's have a look.
Close your eyes.
And I'll miss you. Sorry.
Your eyes can deceive you. We must not trust them. Tell me what comes into your mind.
Life. Balance. I see fire.
Oh, what happened there? It was just I just want to scroll this back a split second. Remember, the masters walk around going, "Close your eyes." Check out this alien. He's got no eyelids.
He could have at least put his hands over his eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, the poor thing. But did you notice something else in this preview so far? In this little room?
Yeah, the only thing I noticed is there's no white guys.
Yeah, there's no white little boys. They're either a girl, they're Asian, or a minority group, or they're an alien. There actually isn't a little white boy there at all.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of some of the feedback that this video is getting. It's already pushing the woke message. It's been absolutely hit hard. Okay, let's just play some more of this.
Someone is killing Jedi. It doesn't make sense.
What happened?
I
darkness.
This isn't about good or bad. This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
What is that?
There you have it. What do you think?
I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carrie, did you know Carrie Moss was in there?
No.
She was the Jedi, female Jedi.
Oh, yeah, okay, yep.
And I kind of felt a bit Matrixy when she's fighting the other lady. I don't know who the characters are at this stage.
Yeah.
I literally only saw
Is that
this
the
a few
only
days
preview?
ago. Yeah, because I believe this is the first preview that's coming out.
Okay, because from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of controversy over this episode.
Yeah.
I'm like, where are they getting it from? Because if that's the only preview,
well,
it's
a
really
lot
not
of the
that
interviews
bad.
that the producers and the directors have talked about.
Yeah.
And it's very, the typical issue that we're having with Disney at the moment is the amount of woke input that they're putting into it. And this is no different. This is probably, if anything, probably the wokest offering from Disney so far in the Star Wars franchise. And it's absolutely copying it because of the type of interviews that the producers are giving.
Is that where they're getting this vibe from? Because when I watch that, I get with the kids. I mean, we're supposed to be inclusive and diverse, but that doesn't mean you exclude white people.
Exactly.
So I get that bit, but from the rest of that, I couldn't see it as an issue. I couldn't see anything else that seemed like a woke issue to me. So it'd be interesting. I'll have to check out the interviews.
The big issue is always with these girl bosses. What happens is they start a show and all of a sudden they're already powerful. There's no story arc. And we always talk about how, in our younger days, we had movies like Terminator with Sarah Connor. And then also even The Hunger Games, her story arc was amazing. And who else was Sigourney Weaver, in all the Alien movies she's made. And I think one of the best story arcs has got to be Linda Hamilton in Terminator.
Yeah, sure.
In the first one, she's a waitress. She's this meek waitress who's scared of everything, just trying to feed her son.
I always think about what she would have had to go through to make the contacts she had, because in the later movies when she's got the contacts out in the desert and the weapons and everything else, like she started out as a waitress with no money, so it's not like she suddenly went out and bought millions of dollars worth of weapons. So I always wonder I feel like there could have been even more of a story arc in there to show us how she got from that point to that point. So
well, you can see, because by the end of the first movie, she's been through hell. She's fought the Terminator. She's fought, I think it was a complete copy. Oh no, that's in the second one. She fights a copy of herself because the T-1000 morphs into a copy of her.
Isn't that the the T-1000?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So in the first one, she has this amazing fight in the foundry. That's what it is, in the foundry. And so she's gone through this absolutely amazing story arc. And in the second one, she's gone to the point where she's in a mental asylum because it's gotten to her so badly. And she's lost a lot of weight. She's buffed, amazingly buffed, and she can beat the crap out of anybody because of her experiences in the first movie.
Yeah.
That's a story arc.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
And this has been the biggest criticism with Star Wars is because the characters all of a sudden can do everything. Like in the last three movies, Rey, she can do everything. She learns the Force within one movie. Whereas you see somebody like Luke Skywalker, he develops that over three movies. But a second one, he's already training. He's done his training as a Jedi, and by the third one, he's a master, minus one arm, one hand. But, he's got a mechanical hand. Which reminds me, in the last three movies, how he dies, then he just disappears. Just like every other Star Wars Jedi before him. Yeah. They die and disappear. What happens to his metal hand?
I don't know.
Does that disappear as well?
Is it in shot?
I can't remember seeing. He disappears, but we don't see a hand dropping.
Could be still on the floor. Maybe nobody picked it up.
I don't know. But he becomes a ghost, and what happens to his hand?
Well, his hand's back when he's a ghost, his real hand.
So his hand's been waiting for him to appear.
Yeah, waiting for him wherever they're going. Yeah.
All right.
And their clothes.
Yeah, so that's the Acolyte. But what I want to do is actually read some of these comments. And remember I mentioned the eyes comment?
Yeah.
Because they copped the big time on the comments of those ones. All right, let's just scroll down randomly down the road here. Down. Close your eyes. What do you see? A message. The message. Someone is killing Jedi. Yeah, Disney. Now we don't actually on this laptop. I don't have the upvote and the downvote set up, but I think they're up to about 250,000 downvotes.
Wow.
Yeah, I should set this up for further future reviews. What do you see? The comment section getting turned off. Yeah. Someone is killing Jedi. It's Disney. Let's just scroll out. They're just absolutely getting hammered. Close your eyes. What do you see?
What?
Nothing, Mr. Weinstein. Close your eyes. What do you see? I see comments being removed from the comment section in a ratio of
Like the last
174k likes versus 475k dislikes. So it's actually more than I thought it was.
I don't know. I'm still not seeing. Maybe I'm blind, but I'm still not seeing where everyone's got so much hate. I get that one scene, like I said, but the rest of it.
Probably because you haven't seen the interviews that they've been doing.
Yeah, but how many of these people have? Or are they just jumping on the
it's
anti-woke
I've
bandwagon?
seen a number. I probably should have prepared a few, but there is quite a few.
I just sometimes think that people go into these things with that mindset already, and they're just going to see what they want to see.
Yeah, well, that's true too. I think we've gotten to the stage, and I'm guilty of it as well, that we've had so much of this thrown into our face that even the slightest amount of it now in a movie, we retaliate.
We jump on it.
Exactly.
Because, we've had this conversation before. We've known each other for, 15 years. I worked it out this morning. And you know me, I'm not into the backstory. I never really am, whether it's Marvel, Star Wars. I'm not really into the backstory. I don't mind it being there. I love it. It's great, but I don't rely on it for the movie I'm watching. So I can watch one movie and enjoy that movie. And if they, he normally wears green in the comics, so I couldn't give a rat's ass. So I don't get caught up in all of that like some people do, like the canon of it all. Yeah. Because some people just get so you got to draw a line somewhere, and I draw my line way before anybody else does. Other people are like, oh no, you've got to get it to the nth degree. We discussed the other week about talking in Klingon. And they invented a language because just making noises on TV wasn't sufficient. So there are people that are, hardcore enthusiasts, and I'm sure that's the same with Star Wars. But for me, it's like I take each movie on its own merit. So, I don't care about the backstory that much. And I do care about a bit of a story arc, but when you're stepping into something that's set 100 years before everything else that's being done, how much of her story, the Jedi Master, how much of her backstory do we need to know right now? That could develop over future episodes. 3 or 4 episodes from now, they might do a throwback to her and what she went through to get to where she is. So we're suddenly just going, this is all white crap based on a 1.5 minute.
Well, it's not based on just the trailer. It's based on all the interviews that are coming out. Because they've been pushing this fairly hard, promoting it already. As Disney always does, Star Wars with Kathleen Kennedy. They'll get up there, and of course the big announcement of what shows are coming out. Then they'll start introducing all the directors, the cast, the producers, and all that. They all push this message, and that's the problem. Once you start doing that, you all of a sudden taint the actual movie.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I don't feel there's an issue with having a female lead. As we just discussed, there's been some amazing movies.
Yeah, exactly.
And just because we've got female leads still happening doesn't mean that they're automatically rubbish.
No, my issue isn't with the female lead. It's everything that's happened regarding this show. All the messages
which is fair enough, which I'm not privy to. That's what I mean. I haven't been looking into that, so I'm not privy to that. So in some ways, we've got our own very different opinion of this because you're looking at all of that, then watching the preview and going, oh, well, I now I see what people are saying.
Yeah, that's right.
Whereas for me, I'm not seeing what people are saying because I'm not hearing what they're saying.
Yeah,
so it's
correct.
Like,
and all of a sudden, like I just mentioned that because I've had so much of it thrown in my face because I watch a lot of movies.
Sure.
That now the slightest bit of it in there, I retaliate a bit.
Yeah.
Well, and that's it's partially my fault, even though I try and still go out and see the movies.
Yeah. And not be biased.
I don't say, okay, I'm not going to go and watch it.
Yeah. So the same thing happened with not Ms. Marvel, the Marvels, right?
Yeah.
So people were all jumping up and down, going, this is going to be rubbish, this is going to be rubbish. And I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to get caught up in all of that. I'm just going to watch it, see if it's a good movie on its own merit, which it wasn't.
Yeah.
But my point isn't whether or not it's a good movie. My point is that I'm trying to go into these unbiased. And that's something that people were forgetting to do.
Yeah. For me, it's always been really simple. I just want to go and be entertained. Okay?
That's my whole
point.
point.
I don't care what the subject is. If you want to have your little message, have it, but don't throw it in my face. The old days, and Star Trek was amazing from the original series.
Yeah.
They knew how to put a subtle message into their shows.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, so after that one, I think I've got one more trailer I'd like to show everybody.
Great, let's go.
Alien are back. They're back once again, and this time producer is Ridley Scott. So he's on this one.
Okay, well that's a good thing.
It's I'm pretty sure it's a TV series. Can't remember 100% sure, but because all I've seen is the teaser trailer. This isn't even the trailer. This is the teaser trailer. Okay, so let's have a look at it and see what you think about it. Oh, it's great. Great feel to it already. Doesn't it feel like the original movie? The very first one, Alien.
Yeah.
Not Aliens, but Alien. It's got that creepiness, horror to it.
Yeah, it's got that vibe. The right vibe.
By the way, we do have to talk over our videos so we don't get a copyright notification.
Yeah,
so sorry about that if we interrupt, if you're getting into it, but you're always welcome to jump onto YouTube and check it out. But yeah, we do have to comment. Oh, jeez.
Run.
Did you think it might be a series?
Oh, no, movie. Only in theatres.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's only a movie.
I don't even know where I got it from. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I actually think that looks awesome.
I think it looks great.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of Event Horizon. It's got that sort of vibe to it. It's got a bit of a vibe to it.
It's got that horror thing.
Walking down tunnels and things jumping out. And
it feels like they're going back to the original movie. Yeah. Because Alien was a horror movie.
Totally.
But... And the final shot of the woman holding the rifle there feels very Sigourney Weaver. You know, I don't know if it's the same rifle, whatever the story is, but it feels very much in style of the very first one. And I still think Alien is one of the better ones out of all of them. Then the only reason I think Aliens is better than Alien because of the action scenes in it, and I prefer the director's cut as well because it filled in a lot of holes to the original theatrical release.
Yep.
But it's just that little bit better than Alien. But Alien's very different to Aliens.
Yep.
And I believe James Cameron doesn't like it being called Alien 2. so it's Aliens.
Yeah.
But two very different movies, even though they're both, xenomorphs and Sigourney Weaver being in both, Ripley. But the first one is a very slow, methodical build-up to a horror movie. And then when the chest burster explodes, from then on, it's just, it's on. Yeah, it's really very different.
Yeah, great seeing that.
Yeah, so what's that, 16th of the 8th? So, this year.
Not too far away, a couple of months.
All right, well, that's pretty much for us for this episode. Like I said, I don't know, did we put a cut in there earlier showing you the Trump results?
I'm sure we will.
Yeah. There's something going to be there. And the good news is we are back again in a couple of days for Thursday's episode, because we're here at 8 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yep.
And over to Pinky.
Yeah, not much else for me to say, but we'll see you in a couple of days' time.
All right, we'll catch you. Thanks very much for joining us for Grumpy Old Men. Thanks for listening to us moan and groan. We'll catch you later.
See ya.